On Friday, it was reported that 4 Notre Dame projected starters were being investigated for academic fraud, and speculation has continued as to how many others were involved and how the school would be punished. But as an institution known as both an academic and athletic powerhouse, the question is Brian Kelly recruiting the right type of players for that high standard? Here's how Coach Kelly responded.
As it relates to the recruitment of the young men here, I think we've brought in the right young men. I think we have to continue to do a better job educating them. We have to do a better job of providing them the resources.
Well, Kelly believes he's bringing in the right guys, but what does our recruiting analyst Allen Trieu see? Allen joins us now. And Allen, have you heard or seen any Irish recruit waiver or decommit since this story broke last week?
No, nothing like that so far. Actually, when it broke, I was actually on my way down to see one of their top commits, Josh Barajas, who plays down in Indiana, and he's as solid as can be. All the other ones who have been interviewed or have come forward have said they're solid. A couple have said they may, wait and see what's going on, but I think at this point, I don't see too much problems for them as far as this year's class goes.
Allen, you've followed recruiting in Notre Dame football for a long time. How will this affect recruiting in South Bend long term?
I think it'll depend a little bit on what ends up happening. I certainly think if some wins get taken away from past years, past seasons aren't something recruits aren't going to care too much about. I think what it does do is it opens up the possibility of some negative recruiting from some other schools. If you're recruiting against Notre Dame and they're trying to use their academic reputation, well, that's certainly a chip that their rival can use against them in recruiting. However, when this type of thing happens, everybody usually asks, hey, how is it going to affect recruiting? Is this going to be a big-time hit to them? And most of the time, it doesn't end up being as large as everyone thinks it is. Penn State is a perfect example. I mean, you don't find sanctions and penalties much bigger than that, and the Nittany Lions have the top 5 class in the country.
Of course. Well, as I mentioned, Notre Dame, known not only for their production on the field, but also in the classroom. This is not the first controversial story that has broke during the Brian Kelly era. Has Notre Dame started to recruit a different type of player, Allen?
I've covered recruiting for quite a while. I've interviewed a lot of the players Notre Dame has brought in before Brian Kelly and a lot of the players he's brought in, and you don't see a big difference. If you look at their class this year, a lot of kids come from great academic institutions, high school-wise. A lot of them come from private schools. Not that that's necessarily a guarantee of anything, but I don't see any red flags or anything with any of the type of kids that they're bringing in.
All right, Allen Trieu, always great insight. Thanks so much for the time.
Absolutely. Thanks, Shae.
And for more surrounding the Fighting Irish and what this scandal means for their season ahead, be sure to keep it right here as our Doug Chapman and Pete Vutek discuss only on CampusInsiders.com.